Hello, Reformers, and welcome back to Phantasy Calradia. Now, when we left off, we had just taken the last remaining fief from the Kingdom of Rhodoks, and now, as we can see here, we are currently in pursuit with Lord Oraka against Count Galux, as he was attempting, I do believe, I think, maybe to take this, or one of our other villages in the surrounding area. As you can see, he's already looted this, and Lord Oraka and I do believe someone else was around this area, and they were chasing him, and I was coming up here because I wanted to head on over to Kudan to hopefully make ourselves marshals so that we could actually ask for a campaign and maybe get a good offensive going against the orcs if we were going to declare war on them, that is. So, before we do anything else, we do want to level our units up just to make sure everyone is tip-top condition before we head in, and then we will be completely fine. So let's get some crossbowmen. I don't know why we're using some Rhodok units, but I suppose it will be fine for now until we get to a nearby garrison, that is. So let us, without further ado, head in here. And there we go. Okay, very nice indeed. We have both of us in here, so we should, in theory, with 424 people, be able to take on 116 of the enemy's units. So let's do it, without further ado. Come on, let's get into a nice position, and what we need to do is get some lovely blessings going on. I do apologize for the frame drops, but I believe the reason for those small freezes is because of the Elven's armor. I do believe that that actually happened a long time ago when the elves were first introduced with newer armor, so when they load in, it does tend to take a little bit of power, I suppose. And it's causing a little bit of a frame drop there, but once it's loaded, it's completely fine. So yes, if you do see that, then that is of course the reason, and it's nothing to do with my setup or anything like that. So yes, that is completely okay. So let's do some damage to their trained crossbowmen, and whoa, that's loud. Oh my goodness, that is loud. Okay, I'm gonna need to reduce the sound on my headphones a little bit, and as a result I was crashing into one of our units there, but yes, it's fine. We do get to change position and change direction, indeed, and be able to do 178 damage. Wow, 178 damage is rather impressive, but there it is. New enemies have arrived already, and I do believe we want to take out this guy. There we are. That's a mercenary mage. Thank you very much. Oh no, come on. We cannot lose any units. No units at all. Yes, there we go. Okay, so we have actually lost Florentis. Okay, that's not too bad, but doesn't he... No, he doesn't have a Maul of the Titans. Frudak has a Maul of the Titans. I'm actually wondering where he is, because it doesn't seem as though he's getting too many kills. So I'm actually wondering how effective is the Maul of the Titans, because I actually don't know how fast it is. I have not used it before in any of my series in Phantasy Calradia, so... yeah... I'm unsure how fast it swings, and we do know that the base damage it has is absolutely insane, very, very powerful indeed, but the swing speed is probably what could let it down in many respects. So we are going to be letting those guys go, thank you very much, and we won't take any of the loot either, not really too useful. So I was actually thinking of stopping off at the 4 ways in as well, but then I thought, well, what are we going to get? We could get some Royal Elven armor. And that, I think, would be it. I don't know whether we could really get anything else. I mean, we could get another Scimitar of Speed for someone. Maybe Lezelit? No, I think he's already using that, isn't he? Nizar is using the Scimitar of Speed, isn't he? No, he's just using a regular Scimitar because I was mad at him for complaining about wanting to leave all the time. But Lezelit's also doing that now. But what's funny about Lezelit is that when I spoke to him and when he actually came up with his complaint, he was happy about everything. He was happy about the current state of affairs, he was happy about our choice of companions, and he was happy about our style of leadership. So I have no idea what he is going on about, but nevertheless, we are going to be now heading on to Kudan and making ourselves the marshal. That is very nice. Wait a minute. Didn't I just pass by that village? Dashbiga? Wait a minute, where is that? Ah, it's over there. Okay, let's go over there and see if we can track down another of the Rhodok's vassals, but Obviously, it is rather tricky to do that, because they do move around very fast. If they have a small party, then they are just going to be running around endlessly. As you can see, I have been attempting to take out a couple of these vassals, but it is actually very tricky when, as you can see, there are so many of them. So, yeah, we're going to see... Oh my goodness, really? Okay, Tashkulun. Aha, he's moved on. Okay, so hopefully we'll be able to get there. Now, okay, this guy, obviously, Nizar does not like our style of leadership and the general state of affairs, but he is happy about the companions. But Lezelit is completely the opposite. He's fine on all counts. So that's why I was a little bit surprised about that. But, what can you do, I suppose? Okay, so we are completely way too late to be able to intercept these guys. I think they might be going down to Kedelki, perhaps? Kedelka? I have no idea how to say that, but I think they are probably going to be heading down there. Tibandra? Where is that? That's not near us, as far as I can tell. Chalez? Oh my goodness me. Oh. Okay, so it appears... No, they're not going this way either. Okay, I'll tell you what, I'm actually going to cut away, and I'm going to try and track down some of these guys, because really, having a pop-up every single second, well, not every single second, but every single 5 seconds at least, is not necessarily the most fun experience I could have, so I'm hopeful that I'll be able to track down some of these guys and eliminate them. Okay, so we have returned to Kudan. As you can see, we are surrounded by a huge amount of lords. Oh my goodness. And we are now about to speak to Clethy, because we want to replace Lord Rogi. Even though I'm not entirely sure whether he's done a very good job, we are going to be replacing him nevertheless, and we are going to be the marshal for a little bit. Oh yes, there we are. And I think that is it. Yes, we don't really need to give our fiefs to anyone else. We don't really need to give any fiefs to anyone. And we are... Are we going to be declaring war against the orcs? Well, that's the thing. One of you has stated quite a few times, I'm not entirely sure whether it's been the same person every time, but a couple of you, should I say, has been stating in the comments that the orcs do need to be eliminated relatively fast, because if we don't, they are going to have over 1,000 unit armies in no time. And, well, suffice it to say, I would like to avoid that eventuality, so we are going to be heading over to the castle. Now, do bear in mind, I have only been able to hunt down, I think, 2 different vassals that were raiding our villages. And the main reason for that is because, yeah, there's a rather irritating bug, I think it is a bug at least, that is causing the Rhodoks vassals to run around with 1 unit, and that is indeed the Lord himself, because of course they have no fiefs, so there's no way for them to get troops, as far as I'm aware. So what they're doing is they're just running around just by themselves and looting villages, and it's really quite irritating, because if I was to do that, then 50 villagers would come out of nowhere and completely destroy me. So yeah, it's a little bit of a shame that the AI does not have the same thing to contend with, and get this as well, the only reason I was able to even get one of them is because I had assistance from one of our own vassals to corner them as a result. But in real time, they move so fast, they're moving at 10.2 or something along those lines, because they only have 1 person in their army, that it is absolutely impossible to catch them. So they are just going to be continuing to loot, and this is exactly what I had in Warsword Conquest, I do believe. Yes, Warsword Conquest, this also had a similar issue where even if you were to defeat a particular goblin enemy vassal, they would respawn in a matter of minutes, and they would proceed then to loot as many villages as they could, and obviously they only had 1 unit. So it is a little bit worrisome that that is actually going to happen here, because if that is indeed the case, then I am not entirely sure how I can finish the endless cycle. So we may indeed have to, well, have to do something about that. But we are going to be declaring war against the Bleeding Throat clan nevertheless, even though it's probably not going to be the greatest idea to do that right now. I feel like we probably need to, otherwise how are we going to... Well, fight them at a later time. Oh, it seems as though Veteran has leveled up as well. Well, we did fight a vassal with, I do believe... Yes, we fought that on screen, didn't we? Yes, 118 units. So he may have leveled up during that, and I maybe didn't see. I'm not entirely sure. Okay, well, whatever the case, we are going to be telling Forentis. I don't think it really matters who we tell, but I wish you to send a message to the vassals of the realm. I want to end the campaign. Really? End the campaign? Okay, I want to start a new campaign, thank you very much. I didn't even know there was a campaign going on, but... nevertheless, we have started a new one, and hopefully they will rally by our side. Hopefully that will be the case, at least. Lord Kagar has actually just been defeated. Oh, actually, no. He's actually just been released from captivity. That's actually good. Okay, great. That's not too bad. Now, do bear in mind that most of our villages nowadays are being looted, and we are getting complaints from our companions. Mostly Nizar. But, yes, we will be heading onward, and hopefully we will not be interrupted yet again by... another village being raided. But yes, as you can see, these fellows as well, they only have a very small army, about maybe 10 or 15 units, and with an army of 225, it is almost impossible to catch them. Unless you have some really good luck. And Beluga has now just been looted, which of course is by War Chief Ayam. Aha, here they are. Hello. War Chief Mariga and War Chief Rudin. Okay, well, they are both Vaegyr vassals that have defected to the Bleeding Throat clan, and we can actually catch them. But I don't want to fight at night, so let's wait until daytime. I wish you could disable that. I really wish you could disable the pop-ups, because just seeing it here, the village of Pagandur has been looted, sure, you know, that's perfectly fine. So maybe they can change that in Mountain Blade 2. That would actually be quite a nice change, because having it pop up does tend to interfere with most of the atmosphere, in my opinion. But nevertheless, we can now head in and take out War Chief Mariga. First of many. The first of many vassals to fall before us. Hopefully. Yes, I say hopefully because I'm a little bit worried about taking on some of the orcish units and the orcish vassals, but taking on some of the defectors from the Vaegyrs, probably not going to be too bad, and I can pass through many of these shrubs and various trees as well, which I do appreciate, because otherwise this would be a nightmare. This would be an absolute nightmare to fight here, because our horses would just get absolutely stuck and wouldn't be able to do much. And speaking of horses, we actually only have 8 cavalry, so really not very useful. But we do have elven Hawkeyes, so let's make the most of it, shall we? Let's make the most of it and give blessings all down the line here. There we go. Okay, we do have exceptional, wow, we have exceptional ranged units, I do appreciate that. And we are going to be telling them to hold position as well. So let us swing at some of these veteran Vaegyr units. And, oh no, okay. I was expecting these cavalry to charge in immediately, but they did not for some unknown reason. Okay, well, we will be taking the damages to them as much as we can. And, whoa, that guy actually got taken out by an elven Hawkeye before I even swung at him, so that was actually pretty impressive. Now, if I could just jump... Oh no, this horse was coming at me from a parallel angle. Oh, that's not too good. Okay, here comes some of their Vedmax. We need to be careful of those guys. They do have some fast swinging weapons, and they do a serious amount of damage, as you can see. 69 damage to our horse right there. Not incredible, is it? Oh my goodness, now our horse is moving a little bit slower. Gotta say that's a little bit disappointing, but we should be fine. We should be fine as long as we do not get too overzealous in our actions. As long as we don't head in when... Oh, wait a second. What happened? Our horse just... Okay, I'm not even going to question it, but I can only assume that some of our Blazing Hand infantry, maybe Blazing Hand Inquisitors, were able to heal our horse, because that's happened before, and I hadn't realized how that actually happened, because I don't believe I can heal it. Can I? Let's just try. No, I can't heal it with the heal spell, but apparently other people can, so it appears as though when our mount is damaged, what we should do is head next to the Blazing Hand Inquisitors. As you can see... Wait a minute. Wait a second. Did you see that? It healed over time? Oh. I think I may know what's going on there. It might be the magic of the unicorn itself? That might be it. That might actually be it. That would be pretty amazing, to say the least, wouldn't it? Oh my goodness, okay, so I had no clue that that was actually the case, but wow, that's actually really nice. Okay. Well, that's not happened before, but maybe we need to be out of combat? A little bit, at least. Out of combat, and then it heals automatically, maybe over time? Or maybe someone, one of our units, one of our Blazing Hand units, is wearing a healing ring of some sort. Oh, no, that's not going to be it, is it? But no. That's usually what the healing ring would assume to do, actually, as well, so that's interesting. Okay. Well, we're not really needing the money or the loot right now, so I'm pretty much just trying to keep us as efficient as possible in terms of our movement speed, so that we can actually catch up to units. Because that's the reason I'm ignoring the prisoners and ignoring the loot right now, because even though the loot really doesn't slow us down that much, I really don't have enough space to make it worth it. And we already have 900,000 in the Gnomish Bank, so there is really no need for cash. And, aha, hello! Oh no, this is an elven defector. I cannot believe the elven defectors would join the orcs. Okay. Right, so this is what we had difficulties with previously. Orc patrols, right? So what we're going to be doing is waiting until daytime, and then we're going to be dealing some damage to them. I really wish I could disable that. Can I actually disable that somehow? No, there isn't any option to disable the pop-ups. I think that is actually just a part of the base game. So, well, that's just how it is going to be for the foreseeable future, unfortunately enough. But okay, so, here we go. Let's do it. Okay, so this is great. This is actually very, very good. We split this guy off from his friends, and now we will be taking him on. He only has 43, but do bear in mind they have almost all cavalry units, and a lot of throwing weapons as well. So, we need to be careful. We need to be very careful. We need to avoid being shot by the varying amounts of throwing weapons that they have. Spears, javelins, and so forth. And I do want to try and bless everyone I possibly can. So let's let's tell everyone to charge in here. And we'll see if that actually helps us out. Oh, thankfully enough, our Holy Avenger is actually dealing some pretty nice damage. Now let's just see. Is our unicorn healing itself? It is! Do you look at that? Just look at the health bar of the unicorn right now. Oh yeah, it is healing itself. That is amazing. Oh my goodness, I like that. So that is the reason why we look down at the health after a severe blow and it's healed itself. Oh, my goodness, that is actually really quite impressive. Now, the other unfortunate thing is, apart from the fact that we are going to be fighting some orcs, is the fact that we no longer have any space. Because I did retrieve a couple of infantry units, Blazing Hand infantry, out of the garrison at the Blazing Hand Temple, and indeed a couple from Kudan as well. So that's a little unfortunate, but yes, what can you do? Really can't do much else about it. We have the best possible units in our army right now, or at least I feel like they are pretty good, so we really don't need to worry about them too much. Now let's just take a look here. Who is that? That is War Chief Vederan. Ah, I would like to take this guy on. He is an undead vassal, and as we know, undead units... Oh my goodness, as well as this guy. Undead units fall before us very, very quickly indeed. This guy actually wants to attack us? So, let me just get this straight. Vederan is running from us, but this guy, with 40 units, runs into us. Okay, he kind of messed up his comrade's retreat command right there, because Vederan was going to get away, or at least I think so. And Rudin coming in to us right here, making sure that we get into a combat scenario, was probably not the greatest idea, because now he is going to be drawing Vederan into the fight, and as we know, he has only undead units, and undead units are very bad against the Holy Avenger. And turn undead, of course, as well. But we are not going to be using much of that at the moment. We are going to be taking off that guy's horse, though. And let's see if we can actually deal some more damage to these guys as well. Now, our Elven Hawkeyes are obviously going to be doing as much damage as they can, but of course they're not really split at the moment, so we probably want to do that. Let's get our infantry a little bit ahead, and maybe we could get our archers over here. I think that would be pretty good. That would form a rather nice barrier. Wait a minute, maybe about here? Yeah, I think over here would actually be better. Yes, there we go. That sounds just about right, doesn't it? So, yes, my mistake that I made previously when we were fighting the orcs is that I was too overconfident. I was thinking to myself, oh, we can take these guys on, they're evil units. We can do so much damage to them with our Holy Avenger sword and so on. But that is not the case. The case is that the orcs have so many units that they are able to overwhelm any force, and that's why I'm trying to take out the very small forces first. We're trying to take out and thin out the various strong vassals that we can so far find, and if we can do that, then we will have a much greater chance of being able to take any of the fiefs in the vicinity. And of course, do bear in mind that they are going to have a huge amount of vassals in the garrisons themselves anyway, so we're going to have difficulties there, because of course we do know that the throwing weapons do like to find our heads every so often. Yes, they do like to aim at our head quite considerably. Oh my goodness. It's bringing back bad memories, that's all I can say. Oh my goodness, that is not good. But hopefully we will prevail. In all likelihood we may, but yes, I have called for a campaign, so I'm hopeful that our vassals are actually catching us up right now, because right at this very second I am a little bit dubious, because, well, they have not turned up previously at some very crucial points, and I would very much like it if they would do it this time. If they would actually join us this time, it would be great, but you never know. You never know what's going to happen, so we'll see what transpires as time goes on. And we're taking out as many of these mummy units as we can. I cannot believe I actually missed that attack, but now we can take him out. There we go. But there it is. We took out War Chief Vianessum with only... Wow, we actually lost 2 units. Oh, they routed, probably because of fear spells, perhaps? Maybe I should have cast Bravery a little bit more, because that does render them immune to fear effects, I think. So, yeah, that would actually be really quite a good idea. But nevertheless, we are going to be letting these guys go, even though it's probably a bad idea to do that. Oh, we're going to be taking those boots and this chest piece as well. Sell for a pretty nice amount, and we'll leave the rest. And there it is. Okay, so, oh yes, as you see, we have an uphill battle. A very much uphill battle. And without further ado, I will be ending this episode off here, and next time on Phantasy Calradia, we will be taking out more of these vassals, and maybe, just maybe, welcoming one of our vassals into the fray. So I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.